Welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto.
I remember a few years ago reading a story on Jalopnik where a guy ordered a very, very unusual car part, and it was shipped to him via UPS, but it never arrived. And so he filed a claim, and he got paid, and he's kind of unhappy about that because he had to go through the hassle. And shortly after that, he saw the part on eBay, and there's no question, it was the exact part that he had ordered but not gotten delivered. And so the question was, wait, there's that thing that UPS says they lost, and it's on eBay now being sold by somebody. And there was a whole brouhaha at the time about that. And of course, UPS says, well, read the terms and conditions that you probably signed somewhere when you shipped something with us that says if something gets lost, we pay the insured value and we move on. But there is a different question. When something clearly disappears or gets stolen, don't they have some, if nothing else, moral obligation? And so Philip sent me a story and says, Steve, check this one out. It involves a guitar and UPS. ABC7news.com writes by Melanie Woodrow, UPS tells Bay Area customer his guitar is destroyed and discarded, but then he found it for sale. He said, I just had an intuition the guitar was stolen. It wasn't damaged and destroyed. So a Hayward man says UPS lost a unique guitar he purchased, then offered up several different explanations, including that it was destroyed in the Southern California wildfires. And then, of course, the man found the guitar. He actually acquired the guitar. And then 7 on Your Side, the TV station, got involved. So the man says, it's a nice guitar. I like its tone a lot. So the guitar was purchased by the father and given to his son, and it had been purchased from somebody who shipped the guitar via UPS and has done that quite a bit. And so on one particular day, he shipped 3 guitars via UPS. 2 of them got there and 1 did not. This particular guitar appeared, according to the UPS tracking stuff, to be stuck in Lathrop, California. So the calls were placed to UPS customer service, and they were given all kinds of reasons why it didn't get where it was going. Somebody said it was burned up in a California wildfire, fell off a truck, fell off a train. So many different stories. The dog ate my homework. The package was damaged beyond repair. All contents were destroyed and discarded. And again, when they tell you the package got destroyed and was discarded, you go, okay, that's a shame. How did it happen? Don't you take better care of your stuff? But you're like, okay. So the man who shipped the guitar received some compensation from UPS, but not an amount he felt was fair. And UPS says, well, that's just going off the amount that the guitar was insured for. Meanwhile, the guy who was supposed to get the guitar had a hunch that the guitar was still out there, and it's a very unusual guitar. So he did a search, and he actually found the guitar in a Guitar Center website. And the reason he knows it's a guitar is the guitar has an actual serial number on it. And I'm not familiar with this guitar, but it refers to as a dime slime guitar. Dime slime. And in case you're curious, the serial number is 21-1564. And the seller says that's like a VIN on a car, and it's there for a reason, just like this. So the seller purchased that guitar, and the buyer made the drive to Bakersfield to get it. So round trip, it was close to 8 hours, but the buyer says, yeah, it was worth it. And the seller says, when you're a small business like myself, you can't afford to have these types of things happen. So they filed a police report and called UPS back, but the buyer says the call didn't go great. UPS is kind of, hey, why are you calling with this tracking number? This is already a closed case. The guitar was damaged and destroyed. Man says, I told him on the phone, well, that's funny. My guitar was damaged and destroyed. I just bought it from Guitar Center. I have it in the car with me. So 7 on Your Side stepped in. Their investigative reporter Melanie Woodrow spoke to a UPS security supervisor who said that the guitar was stolen, but the UPS couldn't reimburse anybody for more than the guitar had been insured for. After speaking with 7 on Your Side and the seller, UPS agreed to revisit the issue if the seller provided a receipt for the purchase. So in a statement to 7 on Your Side, UPS said, "We strive to provide excellent service. We've been in contact with the customer and have resolved the situation. The resolution was a bigger refund that satisfied both parties." And so the buyer says 7 on Your Side has been fantastic. The seller says they couldn't have done it without you guys. While the guitar, which had been in mint condition prior to the theft, now has a few blemishes. It has a dent in one spot, a scratch on the other. But the father and son, who are the buyers, are glad to have it in their hands, safe and sound. So 7 on Your Side's Melanie Woodrow asked the UPS security supervisor why these customers were given so many different explanations. He said there was a casualty code assigned to the shipment, and it's possible representatives in the customer service call center didn't know what the code meant. And so whose fault is that? Okay, just making sure you know that. Second of all, if there's a code in there, they should have a little chart that says what the code is. And so it very well could be that the code means something like other, or lost, damaged, or destroyed in transit, or something like that. And instead of telling the customer that when they call, they just picked one. And the problem is when somebody calls back, somebody picks another one. And so things do get lost. If you looked at the sheer number of packages that UPS handles every day, it's amazing that any of them get anywhere. But they do have tracking on this stuff, and it is amazing. And I remember when they first started advertising, earliest days of the internet, where they said you can track your packages with UPS. It was mind-blowing, but now everybody offers this. You know, anybody shipping something usually has a service where you can track it in progress. And people often joke. They'll say, I mailed something to like 3 counties over, and for some odd reason, it's over 6 states that way, then it's 4 states that way, and then it sits someplace for 2 weeks, and then it gets shipped to where it's going. It got there. It just went on a tour of North America, okay? Those stories are common. And it's scary when you see it happening where something's heading in the wrong direction. And I've had that happen before. But I often talk about, as a consumer protection attorney, I talk about the law. But I occasionally talk about how customer service is lacking quality in America. A lot of times businesses don't understand how serious it is when someone goes to all the trouble of calling the information number, the complaint number, whatever it might be at a company, getting a hold of a live person and talking to a live person and having a live person tell them things that are false, incorrect, not well thought out, or just stupid. Oh, it burned up in the fire. It fell off a truck. Did it fall off the truck into the fire? Did the truck get burned up in the fire? Is everybody okay? Oh, wait, the guitar's over here. And when people get the impression that the company has made a false statement, most people, and I've said this before, ask themselves, why is this person lying to me if they discover it's a lie? And the thinking is they're lying to me because they don't know, they don't care, and they want to get me off the phone. And I've told this story before, and I'm not going to get heavily into it now, but a few years ago, 10 years ago or so, I went to England for a week-long trip. And while there, spent much of it without one bag that was in the plane, supposedly, coming over to England with me. And I would call the airline every single day. And I could actually call the airline's British department and get one answer. And I could call the American branch and get a different answer. And I actually, at one time, had a customer service rep in London tell me, we found your bag. It is on a taxi being sent to your hotel right now. Based on my past experience with these same people, days preceding this, I called customer service in America, and said, do you guys know where my bag is? And they go, yeah, it's in Texas. It's in Texas. I said, well, I was just told it's on a taxi headed to my hotel. No, it's in Texas. And it was probably in Texas because it did not show up that day. The next day I called back and said, hey, where's my bag? He said it was in a taxi cab being sent to my hotel. Oh, no, your bag is on an airplane headed here from Texas. That's not what you told me yesterday. And so you get the impression that they either don't know what they're talking about and have been instructed to make stuff up, or they've been instructed to lie. And that's scary because, believe it or not, when I called the people in America and they said, no, your bag is here, it freed me up for the day because otherwise I would have sat at a hotel waiting for my bag that would never show up. It wouldn't show up that day. It showed up like 2 days later. And so when the guy calls UPS and gets different answers, he knows there's a problem. When he finds the guitar, he finds out they were completely wrong. The guitar was stolen. Who stole it? And of course, if someone stole the guitar, it makes you wonder if it was an inside job. Is there somebody at UPS goes, that looks like a guitar case to me, or someone's shipping a guitar, and of course that'd make UPS look bad also. The good news is the guy found his guitar and the parties have been made whole. So everybody's happy. But once again, it took the intervention of a television station shining a bright light on this and a company going, oh, wait, this doesn't make us look good. It actually makes us look ungood. So, Philip, thanks for sending that from ABC7news.com. Melanie Woodrow wrote it. UPS tells Bay Area customer his guitar was destroyed and discarded, but then he went and found it online and purchased it, and eventually UPS made it good. Questions or comments, put them below. Let's talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Lehto's Law.
If you're going to do the wrong thing, do it the right way.